No,
Actually, I
you and
found it
your wife.
interesting you describe yourself as a mentor, not a coach, or maybe
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do.
isn't that interesting? And
Yeah.
I'm very distinct in why I do that
Yeah, because
because
anyway, I'm curious about that.
I actually created an XY axis. So my mentor died, and about 7 years ago, it was a very emotional time for me because I changed my whole life just to work with him. I moved country and just really wanted to, as Carlos would say, marinate in his presence.
Mhm.
And when he died, I sat and I had a challenge because I think when we find a mentor, especially someone we're very close to, we'll sort of give over to them, so we lose our
Mm.
own sort of strength because we're actually deferring to somebody else's experience so that we can kind of allow that to guide us a bit. And there, of course, is some traps in that, right? You can go into a sect and you give over your agency to another. So it's not without risk. But when he died, I had to sit there and say, what do I actually do? Like I'm like him, but he had such a different personality. Like, what is it that kind of what's the difference? And then I created like an XY axis to make sense of it. And I'm actually trying to think because I had terminology and I haven't really discussed this for years now. But I realized that the x-axis was inquiry for me. A coach can
Mm.
be a really good coach in just inquiry, which would mean asking questions like, how was that for you? What did you learn from the experience? How has that changed you going forward? So coach would just like, you could learn those questions and be a great coach,
Mm.
right? You wouldn't necessarily need to have any guiding principles to say, hey, this decision is better than that decision because of ABC, right? Which is
Mm.
more about life experience. So that x-axis for me was more about rules and defining. So it was more equivalent to what a teacher would look like. So a teacher would say more like, hey, do this way. And I saw the combination of these two was sort of what I felt like the mentor role was, which was
Mm.
basically where you have very strong understanding of principles, ways to work, ways to operate that'll prove to be more effective over time. And then with the capacity of inquiry. And
Mhm.
when the question is required for someone to discover for themselves what it is that would suit their general awareness or general ability to sort of integrate the complexity of the situation that they're currently facing.
Mm. I love that.
So what I saw with him was that he was very good as a teacher. He was exceptional, but there were times when the inquiry was down. So I
Mm.
had to say, oh, I'm trying to balance this being more mentorish activities and also the coaching activities, right?
Mm.